RV life can be rewarding after 60. However, there are changes, and that's something we can't control. Unfortunately, we cannot take our healthcare system on the road with us. And sometimes, if you have a campground reservations, well, guess what? If there's an emergency, you can end up losing. And that is something that people really don't talk about.
If you're new here, we're John and Brenda with Finally Free. We travel part-time in our fifth wheel with our Dotson Heidi. A lot of this information that we're going to give you today, you don't hear a lot about traveling after 60. I'm a retired RN, and I kind of look at things a little differently. Not from a place of fear, but from a place of experience.
Let's start with the obvious. Your bodies change as you get older. We're not 40 anymore. So things that I used to be able to do easy, take for granted, such as hitching or leveling the trailer, kind of puts a little toll on you because I'm having to stretch, bend my knees, bend over because of my back. And it does take a toll on you.
Yeah, and going on long hikes that can be strenuous when you have older knees and hips and back problems can be difficult. And climbing those RV steps, 20 times a day, that can be tiring as well.
It all adds up.
It all adds up. And unfortunately, as you age, recovery takes a lot longer. And overuse injuries are even more common.
We're both fairly active and fairly healthy, but there are things that change that we cannot help. And because of that, it doesn't mean you have to change your plans or change your lifestyle. You just go ahead and travel smarter.
For instance, like this last week, I had to get an MRI of my right shoulder. I've already had rotator cuff surgery on my left, and it's possible that I may need it on my right. So that doesn't mean we stop. That just means we have to make different travel plans. Right. This is the part a lot of people don't talk about is your health insurance. Sometimes, actually, a lot of times our insurance is state specific. So if we are traveling from state to state, that can be an issue, especially with HMOs. If you have a PPO, you do have more leadway with that. If you cross borders, if you go to Canada, Mexico, some health insurance do not cover you in other countries, so you need to check that. Also, when you're on the road, what about medication refills? Like, for instance, I have medication delivered to my home every 3 months. And if I'm gone, that could be a problem. Or maybe I run out while I'm not traveling. So those are things you have to consider. Specialist appointments sometimes are booked months out, and you have to plan for that. Or imaging follow-ups, same sort of thing.
I have to have a CAT scan every 2 years because I have this issue with this aneurysm. But not only that, you have vision, dental, dermatology.
So you have to just plan that accordingly. As a retired nurse, I can tell you how important prevention and planning are. A lot of times people don't even know they have high blood pressure or diabetes. So that follow-up that you do is so important. And freedom after 60 just means that you have to plan more carefully.
Another reality is changing of the family. As you get older, everybody gets older. And there are sometimes you have to pivot and change your plans.
And of course, we have children and grandchildren that are getting older. And for instance, our grandson will be graduating 8th grade in May. And so we had to kind of pivot our travel plans to make sure that we can make that special event. Right. So that's, that's just the reality is that you sometimes have to change things, because of competing priorities.
Right. There is a mental shift that nobody really talks about. And for us, we really don't need to impress anybody. It's not like we're in a hurry. We like our comfort. We don't want to have to get up and move every 2 days. On the other hand, we don't need to have that bougie campground, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, we like full hookups.
I mean, we like the amenity of those.
Right, yeah, we do. But and it's fine to have them every once in a while, but they do get pricey, so you have to kind of be careful in how long or how many times you choose to stay at those kind of places. But we do like the boondock also. So we've done it in the past and we don't mind doing it again.
But things do change as you get older, because safety is kind of a big one for us. We kind of try to choose safe campgrounds. We've done that as when we were younger, where you go into kind of a sketchy campground, and we've had things stolen.
We have.
We don't don't want that to happen again. So we do. We want good internet service. We like full hookups most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Sewer, water, and electricity, but it's not mandatory every single time
for that experience.
So we care more about the calm and the comfort than we do of the extreme and chaotic.
Where we're going to be, no matter where we're going to be, whether it is a campground or even if it is, say, out in the boondocks. So what have we learned so far? Well, I think one important aspect is keep your margins open. Always allow for a lot of extra time in the event of situations that you have no control of. Another thing is, travel days. Try not to do like back to back. That's what we try to practice. Not doing back to backs and long back to backs like we used to do back in the day.
Yeah. Some people will do, you'll hear a lot about the 3-3-3 rule or the 4-4-4 rule. We're okay with up to 6 hours.
Yeah, we can do that.
And don't get me wrong, sometimes you don't have a choice. You have to go 7.
Right.
Because sometimes there's nowhere to go in between those, from point A to point B.
Yeah, and another thing that we always try to practice is not driving at night. We don't like to do night ops.
No, we've been there, done that.
Yeah.
And that can get really difficult.
We kind of like to get to where we're going because, especially if it's been a longer drive, and then allow us to set up the trailer house, decompress, and kind of relax until we decide what we're going to, do while we're there.
Mm-hmm. And just always remember to check your health insurance. Make sure that it goes from state to state or border to border. And also, if you have kind of important medical information, try to do digital copies for that. I think we all need to be just really honest about our limitations after 60. I mean, like I said, we're not going to be doing any extreme adrenaline rushing activities.
I mean, if opportunity comes along, that's fine, but we're not going to go seek it, I guess. We're not at that point where, okay, here we are, we need to go ahead and go for this 20-mile hike in the desert or whatever, No, we don't have to.
Or climb Mount Everest.
Right. We've kind of done all those things, and we do have to kind of keep in mind, our physical
limitations,
capabilities. Yeah, exactly.
Now here's the part that nobody talks about enough. RV life after 60 can be very fulfilling. Our bodies are naturally slowing down, which helps us to enjoy the quiet, the more peaceful mornings, sipping coffee, looking at the landscapes.
Yeah, we don't have to be in any hurry to do anything. We just kind of take our time.
We don't have to punch that time clock anymore. And like we said, we don't have to chase those adventures where, you're trying to get that adrenaline rush going. So we choose to have a home base for stability. but we have an RV that gives us the freedom. But we do want to recognize how grateful we are that we can do this after 60. We know many people, they suffer disabilities and conditions that don't allow them to live this kind of RV life. So we are grateful that we can still experience this.
If you're over 55, let us know, what you guys have experienced and what different types of camping and how
what surprised you the most?
Yeah, and how you set up all that. We don't have all the answers, and even though we've been doing it for 30 years, we've been in some sort of an RV or another. We don't have all the ins and outs, and we can always appreciate if somebody would let us know, what are they doing or what can we do better,
and what works for you,
and what works for you. Yeah, exactly.
So we appreciate you staying around till the end of the video, and thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you want to follow us on our adventures.
Yeah, it's free, right?
Exactly.
I got a special going on today, free. So go ahead, subscribe. All right. Thanks.
Till next time.